Constance Okollet, you come from Uganda, from Eastern Uganda. You have a farm near a village there. You have 7 children. You're the main breadwinner. You describe yourself as a peasant farmer. A peasant farmer, you say, because actually you use a hoe. You don't have any industrialized equipment to farm. So why are you part of Climate Wise Women, and why are you here to talk about the effects of climate change on your livelihood?
I think I will begin with the story. Then my story will answer your question. In the past, we used to live very well. We used not to see these strong changes in climate. We used not to feel hungry. We used not to see many deaths around us. We used not to have so many sicknesses around us. We used to have our education. Children go to school.
Nice lifestyle.
Right. That's when I was growing up. But from 2007, that's when we saw the first change, serious change in climate.
Because you had severe floods in 2007.
Yeah. The floods came, covered the village, and we had to leave the village and go out.
Your entire village was flooded over?
Yes, to take refuge. We took refuge somewhere. After 2 weeks, we came back. That's when we came back from the refuge, we didn't get anything at all in the home. That it used not to be like that.
Everything was wiped out, you're saying, in
completely.
Your home. Yeah, your possessions were gone, and you lost your animals as well.
We lost houses, we lost lives, animals, crops in the gardens, hens, goats, everything was gone. Fortunately, my one house was left. I cleaned that house. I entered. And my friends also came back. They didn't get their houses. They joined me, and we lived a family of 29 people.
29 people?
Yeah.
In your one house?
Yeah.
But you lost all your possessions, you're saying, and the rest of your family lost their possessions. And more particularly, you lost your animals. 4 cows, 2 cows. And an awful lot of the rest of the village was completely wiped out. So what has it been like since then? Presumably very difficult to try to rebuild and find the money to be able to buy new livestock, plant new crops.
Yes, it is very hard for us this time because it's something continuous. It didn't stop that time, it continued, because immediately we planted the crops. After calling on government, the government came and gave us the seeds. After giving us the seeds, we planted. Immediately, the drought came. Long drought of 6 months, destroying the balances of the food and the ones we had planted. So
you went from floods to drought?
To drought.
Between 2007 and 2008, presumably? Within
That is
12-month period, from one to the other. So you weren't able to recover then from the floods?
I think we shall not recover because it is continuous. It's from that, from the drought, again another, in April 2009, there was a very, I call it mini El Nino. It came. It destroyed the houses again that we had set up, the schools, everything. Again, though we didn't go out, but it was sinking some places. So again after that, that was April 2009, from May to November, there was what? Heat, drought again. There you can see that it is from floods to drought. From drought to floods. Then from December 2009 up to up to June, it was raining. That is abnormal rain, because it's never like that. It caused mudslide. The mudslide covered 3 villages, covering schools, hospitals with the patients, homesteads, and...
So really what you're saying is that since 2007 you've experienced a series of climatic disasters that have made it impossible for you and for others in those areas of Eastern Uganda affected to recover, to rebuild your lives. Because as soon as you get up and running, another climatic disaster comes your way.
Yes.
Has there been any period of respite or period of recovery to enable you to have a little bit of stability?
No, we don't have, because even from last year it has been drought up to March, and even up to now there is no rain, no full rain that can give us to plant our crops. In Uganda, people live on agriculture. We do agriculture to get everything, like all the basic needs we get from growing our crops, because in the past when we grow our crops, we grow all types of the crops that we have.
And then some would be exported, obviously, for bigger farms as well.
I don't know, because I don't know whether they export it, but there are some people who come and buy it at home. And when you produce enough, there's enough to eat, and there's enough to sell. So that helps you to sustain your life through your in and out.
Of course. But that hasn't been the case for the last couple of years.
No.
So how do people like you survive? You have 7 children, you're the main breadwinner.
We gamble. These days we gamble with agriculture. Because
you gamble with agriculture?
Yeah, because you don't know when,
sure, of course,
when is the season. But in the past we used to have 2 seasons in a year. The first season would be in January and Feb. Then Feb you plant, you harvest in June and July. Then the second season would be in August, September, and you harvest in November, December. These days, there's nothing like that. We just see when is it raining today, tomorrow, and when it drops, you put down things very quickly,
yes,
and you weed quickly before you are caught up by the drought. And there you expect, will it rain like for some time, and you are covered with the water. So we are just in the middle because we don't have.
So are you able to survive? Are you able to provide enough food on the table and money for your household? You have 7 kids.
No, these days it's not, because in the past we used to, just as I told you, but these days it's not there, because during the drought, many people sleep hungry. One gets a meal a day, if you are very lucky. If you are not lucky, you take porridge or water. And even during the drought, women walk a long distance to look for that water. Getting water is impossible in the village.
So what is the future, Constance, for somebody like you and the other people in your part of, in this case, Eastern Uganda, that's very obviously being affected by bad weather conditions?
My future will be if the developed countries reduce the emission. If they reduce the emission, we shall go back to our normal seasons. We shall produce food because we have all the energy. We shall have water around us, and our children will be able to go to school and read and get everything they want.
But what makes you so sure that the climatic disasters that have been tearing up your lives in the likes of Eastern Uganda are directly to do with greenhouse gas emissions and climate change as such, and that they are not part of cycles of bad weather that have been happening since man appeared on the planet?
First of all, when I was growing up, I didn't see the weather now. And that's why we are saying the climate has changed. Secondly, when I was called in 2009, April, immediately after the floods in our city by Oxfam. That's where I came to learn that there's climate change is man-made. Because in the past we are now thinking that that time of 2007, when we sit and we could now say that it was God punishing his people. Then when Oxfam called this meeting, that's when I knew that it's man-made, it's not God. Then, because they said the developed countries with too much pollution is causing the what? The climate change. And it's making us, we, who don't produce the pollution, heavy pollution, suffer the...
You're paying the price.
Yeah, seriously.
How do you feel about that? You know, you're in Ireland at the moment, and we're not suffering. Okay, we don't have great weather during the summer, but overall we have a very okay climate. There might be a bit too much rain, but on the whole it's not disastrous. Yet we're contributing to greenhouse gas emissions and CO2. How do you feel when you arrive here and you see people going around in cars and maybe doing things that are going to hurt the environment? I don't feel bad for them. I just think that maybe they don't know what they are doing to us, because there are some people talking of science who don't agree that climate change is real. And that's why I say that if we go and talk to them, they may come to understand that climate change is real and it's happening and it's caused by them. Like now I'm telling you that things are not good down there. You may have to change, because if I have a bad heart, I wouldn't come. I would be writing bad stories about the developed countries doing what, which is very wrong. Do you think that people really care, though, in the developed world?
Care?
Yeah. Are they really that concerned about what happens to you, what happens to Ursula and other people who are affected? You know, we have our own worries. You know, we're dealing with financial crisis. Do you not think there's a danger that people have been listening about climate change and seeing the effects of climate change in terms of disasters, but they're sort of become immune to all of that?
Yeah, with the time they will understand. But from the beginning, when we started talking, doing what, many of them were saying, no, it's not like that. But since we have been moving, like in April last year, we moved to colleges talking about the impacts of climate change. Most of them didn't know about what was happening down there. But now with our talks, people are now realizing, and they are now thinking of something of what to do. How can the community adopt with the situation, and
hopefully we'll do something.
Hopefully they will have to do something to help us, because there's the COPs continuing to talk, and we also join there to talk, so things will be okay.
Well, Constance, Ursula, thank you very much for coming in and telling us your stories. Best of luck. You have a lot of challenges ahead of you, but well done on trying to educate us all in terms of showing it's one world, and one thing we do will affect the other. But thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.